anger, which you may or may not experience. Some people have all the reason in the world to be angry for the conditions and circumstances around their loss, even suicide. They can be angry at the loved one. There can be people angry at God for letting them down, not answering their prayers. Angry at the loved one for making an error in judgment. Mad at yourself for not somehow preventing the incident or somehow preventing the cause of death. So we can tend to beat ourselves up. We can tend to put blame on ourselves, especially if it's the loss of a child, because we are responsible for that child. That should the death occur, we have a sense of guilt that somehow we could not prevent the untimely death of our child. And that is something that we will experience. And so anger is a very, very real, very, very real emotion in grief, even though you may or may not experience it. But it's a valid emotion, it's a good emotion. Anger lets things out, anger makes change. This country was started by angry people that left Europe. Mothers Against Drunk Drivers were angry at the death of children by vehicular homicide due to drunken driving. And they made changes and they're saving lives. So anger can cause change. Anger channeled correctly can do many, many things. But it's important to have an outlet for it somehow, whether you change a law, change a thing. If you look at this picture, you may see resentment, you maybe see revenge, and we may entertain these thoughts of revenge and getting back at somebody for the death of our loved one. And that's okay to think that. I mean, those thoughts will come. But I encourage anybody that has those thoughts just to follow the legal system and do things, change laws. In Minnesota, we've had laws change. And I know in every state there's laws change. Things have changed because of the death of a loved one and what the loved ones left behind have done in honor and legacy of their loved one to prevent similar deaths. So other things do come out of it, and that can help us in our grief, is to be able to channel that anger in a productive and proactive manner. So if you have anger, channel it. Even if you need to go to the Goodwill or the Salvation Army and buy a bunch of plates, don some safety glasses, and throw some plates at a brick wall, just let that out. I have to tell you a story. When my son he was dying and going through chemotherapy, and we had just, and then the cancer came back, and we were so angry. We worked so hard for so long, and so I took my son, 9 years old, to a junkyard. They let us in, and because it was abandoned, and we went to a trunk of a car. And we pulled out a couple crowbars, tire irons, you know, my son and I, and we went around in the whole salvage yard, and we're busting out headlights. Oh my God, we had so much. He was a little weak, but boy, he could swing that crowbar and bust those headlights. I even put him up on the hood one time, and he's smashing the windshield, and oh my gosh, it felt so good to let all that. Because everything was out of our control. We are out of control. When we're out of control, we get angry. We don't even know who or what at, but we are angry because we have lost control.